Today I will be presenting a comparative analysis of two performances of the same classic jazz song, When I Get Low, I Get High. One version is by Ella Fitzgerald, recorded in the 1930s, and a modern cover by Kate Kortum, which was actually released in October of this year. I'll explore how these two versions differ in vocal style, arrangement, and emotional tone, and what that has to say about their respective time periods and audiences. Before diving into excerpts from the songs, it's important to understand the history behind them, so let's talk about Ella Fitzgerald's version first. The original When I Get Low, I Get High was written right in the middle of the Great Depression in 1936 by Marion Sunshine and Jimmy McHugh. The song was scooped up by Decca Recording and was famously recorded by a 19-year-old Ella Fitzgerald with Webb's orchestra in 1937. Over time, after Ella gained popularity after achieving her first major hit, A Tisket, a Tasket, at age 21, When I Get Low became one of the songs that she performed regularly, which helped launch Ella into jazz stardom. The title is a little mysterious, could mean a lot of things: joy, rebellion, maybe even escape. Based on years of listening to jazz and personal experience as a musician, I found that double meanings were a big part of early jazz lyrics and titles. There's this emotional ambiguity that gave people both hope and humor during hard times, especially during something as difficult as the Great Depression. Other songs from this era that carry the same quality include It Don't Mean a Thing If It Ain't Got That Swing by Duke Ellington, I'm Gonna Sit Right Down and Write Myself a Letter by Fats Waller, and Fine and Mellow by Billie Holiday. On the surface, these songs sound upbeat or romantic, but underneath, the lyrics often carry tension, sadness, or quiet strength. And When I Get Low fits perfectly into that tradition. So with a little bit of context, here's a full version of Ella's When I Get Low, I Get High.
My fur coat so low, Lord, ain't it cold? But I'm not gonna holler, 'cause I still got $1. And when I get low, oh, I get high. My man walked out, now you know that ain't right. Well, he'd better watch out if I meet him tonight. I said when I get low, oh, I get high. All this hot luck in this town has found me. Nobody knows how trouble goes round and round me. Oh, I'm all alone with no one to pet me. But old rocking chair ain't never gonna get me, 'cause when I get low, oh, I get high. When I get low, oh, I get high.
In Ella's version, her vocals don't come in until about 50 seconds in. Before that, we get a full swing-style intro from Webb's orchestra, which is just awesome, and it sets up the whole energy and feel for the song. The second chorus starts around 1 minute 11 seconds in, followed by a return to the original chorus at 1 minute 21 seconds, giving the whole song this circular, almost call-and-response vibe. An instrumental break starts at 1 minute 29 seconds, giving space for the band to shine. Her last vocal line comes in at 2 minutes 10 seconds, and the song wraps up tightly at 2 minutes 26 seconds, keeping the whole performance rhythmically clean. One thing that stands out about Ella's version is the presence of Webb's orchestra. His band was one of the top swing bands of the 1930s, known for their tight, punchy arrangements and energy. The brass, bass, and drums work together to create a bouncy, high-energy swing rhythm that Webb's musicians were known for. And then there's the sound quality. This recording was made in 1936, so it has that classic slightly grainy sound with a lot less depth than what we're used to today. Ella's voice sounds bright and a little compressed, partly because of the early recording technology and partly because of the live studio setup. But that's also what gives it its charm. It's just a little comforting. You're not just hearing the performance, but you're also hearing the era it came from. Webb's orchestra is essentially driving the mood. They fill in gaps between her phrases, respond to her rhythm, and set the emotional pace. It's a true collaboration between voice and band, which was a heartbeat of the swing era jazz. Decades later, after Ella's version, Kate Kortum released her own spin on the song, featuring a modern, spicy band, a unique tempo, and exactly the same lyrics. Now let's talk about Kate Kortum's version. It was released just this past October, and it puts this really fresh spin on the same lyrics Ella sang nearly 100 years ago. If you don't know who Kate Kortum is, she's an indie jazz artist who's been gaining attention on platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. And actually, that's where I discovered her. What makes Kate's version stand out is how she changes the tempo and mood without changing a single word. Her style is sultry, captivating, and has a hypnotic vibe. So while Ella's version feels like a confident performance for a full crowd, Kate's feels more like a personal confession. And yet, despite its softness, the version carries a subtle pulse of energy. It simmers just below the surface, held in the rhythm, the strain of the band, and the way her phrasing builds tension. It's that contrast, the emotional quietness paired with musical intensity, that makes her version so compelling. It doesn't demand attention, it just pulls you in automatically. Where Ella's version celebrates bold defiance and swing-era rhythm, Kortum's gives us introspection, allure, and quiet strength with a side of insane vocal range, all while still echoing the same lyrical message. It's a completely different energy, and yet still captures the same emotional ambiguity at the heart of the song. So, with a little bit of context, let's play Kate's version.
My fur got sold, oh Lord, ain't it cold? But I'm not gonna holler, 'cause I still got $1, and when I get low, whoa, I get high. My man walked out, now you know that ain't right, but you better watch out if I'm leaving tonight. I said when I get low, whoa, I get high. All this hard luck in this town has found me. Nobody knows what trouble goes round and round me. Whoa, I'm all alone with no one to bet me. Old rocking chair ain't never gonna get me, 'cause when I get low, whoa, I get high. $1, and when I get low, whoa, I get high. My man walked out, now you know that ain't right, but he better watch out if I'm leaving tonight. I said when I get low, whoa, I get high. All this hard luck in this town is behind me. Nobody knows what trouble goes round and round me. Whoa, I'm all alone with no one to pet me. Old rocking chair ain't never gonna get me, 'cause when I get low, whoa, I get
Kate's version is supported by a small modern band, and their playing is incredibly intentional and restrained. Right from the start, we hear her voice, piano, and soft drums. Then at just about 3 seconds in, the bass slides in quietly, anchoring the mood without drawing attention to itself. The band dynamics are super subtle. You can feel them shift in very specific areas, like 2 minutes, 4 seconds in, when the drums suddenly become more rhythmic, bringing a new pulse into the mix. And then again at 2 minutes, 36 seconds, when the band briefly rejoins after her final vocal run. But even that feels gentle and controlled, never overpowering. And sound-wise, the difference is huge. Obviously, our technology has changed and improved a lot since 1936, and Kate's version was recorded with a modern studio clarity. In comparison to the original, everything is clean, warm, and layered. Her vocals are right up front. No grain, no crowd noise, and no swing band bleed through. Her voice just kind of has this aura, and the space around her unique voice adds this intimate climate to the song, which is difficult to do. I believe that music is the most important way humans interact with the world. And even though music taste is completely subjective, what we respond to is rhythm, emotion, and storytelling. Songs like When I Get Low, I Get High show us how the same lyrics can connect with people across nearly a century, just by changing the way they're delivered. Two completely different feelings, yet both are valid, both are moving, and both are true. And that's why music matters. It helps us process our emotions, reflect our culture, and reimagine old stories in new ways. That's all I got for y'all today. Thank you, and I hope you have an amazing break.